You know,
It looks good.
I have a complicated relationship with true crime because I feel like it's like kind of turning.
Because every perpetrator sounds like you.
No, it's because
That documentary's coming out?
Yeah.
no, because I do. If there's something gross about turning it into entertainment to me.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I don't know.
But you know what? The idea of like, oh, true crime is, we're in a wave of true crime, and it's so popular. If you look at history,
I know
we've always, as a people's, been fascinated with morbid things.
Lizzie Borden.
I mean,
Jack the Ripper.
But like newspapers, since newspaper existed, it was always like whatever salacious, horrific murder was a thing.
Right.
People would crowd crime scenes in a tiny, like small town.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, this horrible murder happened, and everybody would show up.
Yeah.
And then you go further back, people used to just be like, "They're doing the hangings tonight. Let's go to do the hangings."
that's
You know,
true.
Yep.
Who wants to pack a picnic?
I know. You're right.
Throw a rock at the body, son.
I mean, I'm not really judging anybody else. I just get like a little bit skeeved out. Like especially for me, a lot of the documentary stuff is usually a little bit more, it's less gratuitous and exploitative. But a lot of the podcast stuff is just so detailed. And even like I watched the Golden State Killer documentary, and some of that got too heavy for me, and I stopped watching it.
Yeah.
It was actually talking to the victims as they recounted the nights, and it's like
I prefer like historical true crime. I always like historical true crime.
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, or hey, this
Please, Brad the Ripper.
there was oh hey, there was a serial killer during World War II in France when everybody was like trying to hide. And like I think that's interesting.
That is interesting.
There was a serial killer in I want to say Germany. It might have been somewhere else that was claiming they could get people out of the country. And so, hey, come meet me here.
Yep.
Bring your things. And, it's going to cost money to bribe these people. This guy was a doctor. And, we need to spend money to get you out of here.
Yep.
They would bring their money and obviously any other possessions that had value with them. And they would come and he'd go, so we have to do it this way. I have to give you this shot. So it makes you, either he would say like it's an inoculation for the travel, or this is going to make you, sleep, and we're going to put you in a thing that gets you across, whatever. And he would get the victims to come, bring all of their valuables, clearly saying, I'm going away forever.
Right.
Give them the shot, knock them out, and then brutally kill them. And then just keep all their shit. When the police finally showed up there were just suitcases and all these things piled up, and he was just taking the money. He was just doing it to like rob people.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's insane. It's horrible.
That is insane.
Yeah. Let's start the podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Funbearable.
Wait, we're not keeping that beginning.
Yeah.
The true crime stuff?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
Why
Brad.
not?
All right, that's fine.
You tell me people weren't riveted in that moment. Like, what
I
did he
was
do?
riveted.
What did he do?
I was
Yeah.
grossed out.
I'm Brad Rohr.
I am Ray. That really happened. Harrington.
I'm Chuck. No, it didn't. It's taken.
You're a truther for that. Yeah. Yeah, you go beyond like a Holocaust denier, and you're like, no, I don't think the whole war happened.
Yeah.
I think the whole of World War II is fake.
I think that 1940 to 1945, they just skipped. They just skipped it.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve, 1939 went to 1945 on January 1st.
And Hitler was just an actor.
Yeah.
That's all he was.
Yeah, crisis actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a crisis actor.
Because if you look in World War I, if you look at some of the photos
World War
in
fun.
the background, you can see a guy that looks just like him.
Yeah, he's on the bank of the sun. He's painting.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's a dictator.
I don't think so.
Come on.
You show me a painter that's done war crimes, George W. Bush. Oh, shit.
You know what I love?
No.
I love all the historical pictures that people are like, that's a time traveler. Like,
Oh,
what do they
yeah,
have?
yeah,
I
yeah,
love that
yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's some funny ones. It's funny because like there is some stuff that's like hard to explain, but it's like clearly they had a thing that we don't know what it is because it's a different time period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They had a thing that
Ooh, look at this weird looking guy with those weird glasses. Yeah, there were weird looking people.
Well, it's like what was that in his hand? A cell phone? And it's like a little tiny thing. It's like, no, it's a device that whatever it is, we don't need it anymore. We are not familiar with it.
Yeah, it's like a primitive hearing aid, but because it's vaguely rectangular and black, people are like smartphone.
Yeah. Also, like it's hardtack.
Yeah.
It's beef jerky. Right. Like, what do you want? You know what I mean?
You ever eat hardtack?
No. Oh, I love it.
I hate it. I hate hardtack.
No, I know. I've never
it
had
tastes
hardtack.
like shit.
Yeah.
We had to go on a field trip, and they were like, "Here's what the Pilgrims ate. It's hardtack, which is like, like a type of bread that they would have on the ship that would last for longer. Is that correct? Yeah. It's like less, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But however they make it, it doesn't need to be preserved in the same way.
Right.
And it tastes like fucking garbage. It's so bad.
Yeah. Oh, you would hate the past, Chuck.
Yeah. I think I'd hate the past.
There's no like.
You don't even like the present.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff. Like you'd be eating stuff, and you'd be like, "This isn't good. This just isn't good."
You
would
the other
excel.
Hand, thrive.
Oh yeah, except for the hard labor.
Brad Rohr, inventor of the hot dog.
He goes back in time.
Brad Rohr, inventor of hardtack.
If you were Doc Brown in Back to the Future 3, in that barn, the big Willy Wonka style machine, instead of just making an ice cube, it would be a hot dog. It'd be like clink.
He puts a pig
a
into
whole
it.
Pig. Oh no, beef franks, a cow, a whole cow.
I throw them all in there.
Yeah.
There's a turkey. There's a cow.
There's a guy.
Pig. Yeah. That's how hot dogs are made.
Yeah.
You know what's stuck with me for my whole life is when Lisa Simpson
The accusations
became a vegetarian.
Oh yeah.
There's one part where they're like, "We're eating this," and it shows like an animal, and it's like a rump or whatever. It's this and it's this, and then the last one is hot dog, and it shows all the things come together, and it's like a raccoon and a tongue of a shoe. I always think of that when I think of hot dogs now. Yeah. I love that. That's a great joke.
I like that. Okay. But we have information to get to today
about hot dogs.
This is one of our episodes that we'd like to do infrequently. Where we invite, we always invite people to write in to funbearablepod@gmail.com about topics we've done or people that have similar experiences in certain things.
It could be anything. Yeah. Feedback on the podcast, things they'd like us to do, whatever it is.
Insults, propositions, whatever you want.
Yeah, ill-fated charities.
Right. Detailed to a point that is a psychosis of, let's say, how to reheat a meal.
Yeah.
Sex dreams, telling us about sex dreams that they've had about us.
Unadvisable business ideas.
Yes.
Also
boy crimes.
What else do they talk about?
Catfish schemes that all three of us fall for separately, independently and separately.
Yeah, and it's a situation where they mesh it together in such a way where we end up unknowingly catfishing each other.
Yeah.
Like we're actually all talking to each other.
Yeah. You're good, buddy. No, go ahead.
You're good.
No problem. How you doing, bud?
Dave Fiorillo.
Catfish.
He wanted to get his email on the air. And he was listening outside the door.
He's slipping the paper in. He's like, "I got this email. It's about a sex dream I had about the three of you." Who was best? Oh, he's gone. He's gone. We'll never know.
As soon as you said that, he ran out. He can't decide. He can't decide.
Yeah. That's really thoughtful. That's special for our feelings.
It's like Brad trying to waffle through the question about Snow White.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
This is fun. That's our first
run by
pod bomb we've got. You know what I mean? That was really good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Balls in your court, Corey Brailsford, other owner of the Rhode Island Comedy Connection.
Yeah, exactly.
If he pops up from under here right now, I'm going to freak out.
Well, without any ado or title screens,
I think we need that. I think it's time. Enough hemming and or hawing. It's time to, how do it go? Oh, yes. Crack that sack. Flames, 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 flames.
We are in.
I don't know if you noticed every time we do this, a different celebratory image. Different thing.
Did you see the disco ball last time?
Yeah,
that was
fantastic.
great.
Yeah, confetti is going to happen. Now we've got flames.
Yeah.
Good luck, Craig.
Frogs jizzing. That one's going to be hard.
Beginning of Blade Blood Party. Where the blood's all comes out.
Well, the idea of us looking around.
Oh my god! I pictured like the guy that's in Gremlins, the neighbor, the handyman guy that like has the plow and stuff.
Yeah.
I pictured him as the plumber the next day at that warehouse where the blood party happened.
Oh,
where he's like, it's all coagulated blood in these pipes.
I
These
fix
pipes
my
are ruined.
Studebaker.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, me too.
This email, we are as we slowly catch up. We're in November of 2023.
We're almost there.
Yeah, the month of giving thanks.
Yes, this is from Mike. It is a lengthy email, but he said you don't have to read the whole thing.
Okay.
But you can read the second part. So I'm going to skip down here near the end. To sum up all too long of an email, my heartfelt thanks to you three for simply sharing your love, creations, and talents with all of us who eagerly await for that podcast to drop every week.
Thank you.
That means a lot. That's very nice.
Yeah.
I may no longer post comments, but I've been wanting to write this for a long time and hope in some small way it helps you realize the worlds your friendship and content reach. Your silly little conversations are powerful and can make the difference between misery and hope for some of us. May you all receive the success you deserve. Keep creating. FFLB, Funbearable for life, bitches. Mike
That's
C.
great. That's really nice.
Thank you, Mike. I really do appreciate that. And I'm a little scared of the responsibility and power that is in bringing joy or sorrow to the people.
You know what they say in Madam Web? If you have a lot of... They seriously butcher the line, and they say it like a different way.
Like, if you have great responsibility, expect great power. No, wait, is that right? Line, then they cut to the next
They say
scene.
it backwards, though.
Yeah. Oh,
they say
yeah.
if you accept great power... They say if you accept great responsibility, you have great power. And I saw a YouTube video being like, this actually means the opposite of what the line means.
Yeah.
It was really, really funny.
Wow.
No, but
thank you, Mike. That's wonderful.
That was so nice. And I've actually seen a few comments recently that are like, it's like I was having a bad day and I listened to this and it completely changed that. And I'm like, man, that is great.
It's
to be able
lovely
to
hear. It also worries me thinking about some of the goofery that we've done that people are relying on to like shine a little bit of light in a dark, dark place. And it's like, oh no.
So you're saying like,
you know what I mean?
Jason Statham as a Jawa maybe isn't cut the mustard.
Does that do enough for
right,
people that need it?
I'm saying that.
Or what if somebody's in a dark place and we start out and we're like, oh, Chuck's the Zodiac groper, you know? Like,
yeah. Like the phrase "with great power comes great responsibility," right?
Yeah.
I don't think we have great power.
No.
And this sounds like a great responsibility.
I
You know what I mean?
love to
That's
grow.
like if we were Spider-Man and we just went, please stop.
I do love to grope, and I am a Leo.
That's funny.
It's
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, and he's up north it seems in the Maine, New Hampshire area. And I was thinking about as Chuck and I prepare for our Canadian sojourn, like. We have Sabrina in Germany. I know we've had some Canadian listeners write in, but I just wonder, like, where are you listening or watching from? Funbears.
Sure, that's fun to know.
Yeah,
like
a lot of prisons.
Mostly prisons.
That's the light they need in a dark, dark day.
Look at these.
When I'm in the hole.
They let you have a phone?
Yes.
No.
I think they do.
No.
Can I say something?
I had to put it in my butt.
Can I say something about prisons?
My fun hole for the Funbearable pod.
I'm all confused about prisons. I always thought when I was a kid, you go to prison, you're wearing the black and whites, you got a bed with chains on it, and you just sit there, and there's the window with there's the
what
window.
What prison are you going to?
I'm thinking
Is
of
this
like
a sex prison?
Robin Hood, and like
the animated film.
Come on, you're a fox. You're in love with a fox.
I love that song.
Yeah.
No, but like I really,
Chuck does say "oodalali."
I do say that all the time,
and that's not a bit. Chuck,
No, he thinks that's a part of his body.
yes. Oh, my oodalali.
Yeah. I rode a bike and I had a chafed oodalali. Oh, I chafed up my oodalali so bad.
Robin Hood rules.
That's great. Nobody's arguing that.
No, but like I always thought prison was like you go in a white room. It's all it's very stark.
White.
You gotta I don't know, like gray, whatever it is.
Yeah,
There's
concrete.
bars.
Yep.
Concrete. And you sleep and you have the thing. But then like every time I see anything about prison now, they've got big screen TVs. They've got cell phones. They're eting butt brownies and champagne.
Butt brownies. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Toilet wine and butt
I'm
brownies.
confused though.
I think
That was a Fred Durst album.
I think it depends on
Solo
the
album.
prison.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
So
I
and
think
the level of
security
crime, yeah.
Morgan Spurlock did in his show. Was it 28 Days? Was that the name of the show?
I think so.
21 Days, whatever it was.
Whatever it was, yeah.
Yeah.
He went to prison and like filmed a documentary over the course of that time, and he was basically like, hey, I served 60% of my time because most inmates only serve 60% of their time. So I was only in there for X number of days or whatever. But that to me was like a look at a lower security prison. And you're not wearing the black and whites, and they aren't bars. They're like they're reinforced doors with like plexiglass things and stuff like that. So.
I watched there was a Netflix show that came out a couple years ago. I wish I could remember what it's called. It's something very, very straightforward, like Behind Bars or something. And it's basically like a cross between a reality show and a documentary about living in this prison. And it was pretty crazy.
We picked 7 strangers.
Yeah.
I murdered 6 people.
It'd be weird if they weren't strangers.
To live in a prison.
But that was
to find out what happens.
And it was all about their relationships.
I just did a Ponzi scheme.
It was all about their relationships and all the stuff and stuff. Yeah. And like they did have, times when people got like beat up really bad and whatever.
Yeah.
But there was all these little tricks and things. Like they were sending each other stuff through the toilet system. They figured out that they could, all the toilets like in a row, like for the floors, they could send each other stuff if they flush and unflush at the same time or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they were communicating that way. But it's just, I'm always so confused about, like in other words, you just said the thing about like they let them have a phone in there. Like I think that's pretty typical. I think you can have a phone and
no, most phones. I think there's
probably not SIM card, but like Wi-Fi.
They don't have Wi-Fi. I don't think.
I think they do.
Oh, okay. Well, I
don't know. I don't know.
What I understand is like there are a lot of phones in prison, but they're not supposed to have them, and they have to kind of hide them, and then occasionally like they get found with a phone.
Wow. Yeah. It's really interesting to me. If you've been,
there's a lot of different types of prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if you've been in prison, write in.
Or if you work in a prison.
Yeah, if you work in a prison, tell us, can the people have phones? Remember, we had a buddy that worked in a prison. You know what people would do? Remember this thing that the dust?
No.
Okay, here's what you do. Like, this is if you go to prison.
Okay, me?
Yeah.
Specifically
and
me.
let's say you don't like a guard. Or,
I don't like that guard.
Or different a prisoner.
Now I remember. And I wish I didn't.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what you do.
Yeah.
You get like a lunch tray.
Okay.
All right? So you jizz all over it.
Jizz on it?
just do what I'm saying.
Like spite jizz?
Yeah.
Okay.
You spite a jizz, or maybe some shit. You could do whatever you got.
Okay.
And then you wait till it dries.
Uh-huh.
And you scratch it.
Yeah.
And then fucking Brad comes around the corner.
Tartar.
I'm not even kidding.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Remember?
Yes, I do.
He told us all about it.
That's like a witch doctor. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I'd say he told us about it, and we made jokes about it for 4.5 hours.
Yeah. Because it feels like...
and honestly, it was just back and forth.
Yeah.
For 4.5 hours. And Chuck and I were laughing hysterically.
People
the
are
entire
watching
time.
across the street, and they're like, are they okay? Do they need people? Because what they've been doing is they're laughing incessantly and blowing each other kisses. That's all they're doing back and forth. Does somebody not know where they are?
Just close the shade, Mildred.
It's so that the whole thing is like
it's crazy.
It's Exorcist 2 when they go back to when it started. And it's like, my name is Pazuzu, right? It's like, dude, that's crazy.
It's funny because like I guess if you're put into a position where you don't have any options, like you come up with weird shit. Because I would never think of anything like that.
Yeah. Hey, all you have is time and limited resources, and you come up with what you come up with.
I think they would make some sort of like not when I use the word bomb, I don't mean like explosive. I mean like a bomb of like feces and urine and shit like that.
Like a water balloon.
Something like that,
Yeah. I mean, I know that they will just throw their shit or semen.
So I think, what about this? So you know how people flick each other off to be like, fuck you?
Yeah.
I think in the world of Funbearable, it should be... and that's pretty funny.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
I feel like I just caught COVID.
Yeah. How does the memo go out though to Funbearable?
We're doing it.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Oh, these are our public addresses.
Yeah.
Each episode is a public address to Funbearable.
And if you want to make it a real big one,
yeah,
my jizz does.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
it's wait. I sounded really upset, like I'd been saving my dust.
My jizz does. I sneezed. I wasn't ready yet.
Yeah.
I chew. Oh,
yeah. Brad goes, I'm ready.
I'm pregnant.
No, it's the camera panning down the line of cells, right? and one guy, it's like almost all the steps of it,
Yeah.
right? And then it gets to Brad's, and he has it flipped over, and he has $1 bill, and he's doing lines. He's doing lines, just
Man, so we won't say his name. We'll call him Timmy.
Yeah.
He told us some crazy. We were
did.
when he first. So we know this guy.
He became a correctional officer.
Yeah.
And so we were there.
Jail time Timmy.
Yes, as he was going through the schooling for it. And so he would come home with a new fact.
Jack the jailer.
You know, Chuck's putting his papers on the fridge and everything. You know, hey,
Yeah.
you're upholding this confusing, probably not super effective system of punishment.
So
not,
it was-
not so much rehabilitation.
It was a guy named Timmy. That's his fake name, and he was dating one of our friends, and so we saw him all the time. And he was
Jimmy the jail guy.
He was a very Jimmy the jail guy. He was a very like hostile guy,
Okay.
but kind of in an impotent way. So it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say? And so
Yeah.
he would get mad really easily. We always had fights. One time he talked about how he was going to church and his priest was using the priest was using an iPad,
Mm-hmm.
and he was fucking pissed. And we're like, "Why? What do you care?" And he's like, "I don't think there should be any technology in churches." And so of course we just tore him apart about lights and it was
We said, what if somebody is in a wheelchair and they need to use an elevator to get to the second floor? He's like, I would just carry them. Which was
What a hero.
yes.
Yeah.
And then he was talking about how he was going to get laser eye surgery. He needed it for this job. And I was like, "Oh, tell me more about this no technology in church thing, RoboCop."
Yeah.
And he got the job, and he started filling us in about all these different prison things. And man, they were so funny. I kind of wish we could remember more. But I remember one of them was how much, and this is, we're not saying his name, so we're not incriminating anyone, how much he hated the prisoners. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, come on. I'm like, they're probably nice guys. And I'm half joking and half telling the truth. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And so I'm like, they're probably nice guys. And he's like, nope, fuck them. I go, what if it was one of their birthdays? Would you say happy birthday? He's like, remember this? He's like, nope. And I'm like, what if it was on your birthday and it was his birthday and he said happy birthday to you? And he's like, no, I wouldn't do it. And we kept just baiting him further and
Oh
further
my
down
God.
this road.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hilarious, man. But yeah, I think that's the new Funbearable fuck you. is
Yeah,
the dust
so-
blow.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we've learned a lot. The prison system, the American prison system is not great. It's a capitalist thing.
Yes.
For-profit prison is not a good thing. And I think it's anti
Justice.
the idea of humanity.
Yeah.
A for-profit prison.
Yeah.
No one should make money off of a prisoner.
Gross.
Yeah.
It is gross.
Well, we learned some stuff. Can you read us another email?
I'd love
I don't know that much
to.
about prison.
This
Oh, you
email-
will.
I've been arrested,
That's true. Yeah.
and I had to do the thumbs
Yeah.
and my prints, and they said, "Oh, they said,
They said they were the best prints they've ever seen.
Yes.
well, like the cop came into my house, and he's like, I got to arrest you," and he was like, I got arrested because of the we were filming like Jackass stuff,
Yeah.
and I did like an enema in public, and there was video of it, and I got in trouble, and he came into my house, and he was like basically, I was in my room. My friend Christian and my friend Kevin at the time, they walked over and they were like, "Hey, there's a policeman outside. He asked us to send you outside." And I went outside and I was like, I talked to this cop and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "You're Chuck State." And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I got to arrest you." And I said, "For what?"
Groping.
He goes, "The enema." And I was like, "Ah, shit. Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, and I don't know this guy, but he was treating me like a buddy. I'm like, all right. And I'm like, and I didn't have any shoes on. I'm like, can I go put shoes on? He's like, yeah. And he came into my house with me right before he went in. I'm not even joking. I was like, my mom is upstairs. Like, she's going to flip. We got to go downstairs quietly. He's like, okay. He tiptoed down. This is 100%
That's so fun.
true.
Yeah.
We tipped down the stairs.
Yeah.
He had to watch me because he wanted to make sure I was just getting shoes.
Yeah.
Got shoes. We go up to the top of the door to go outside. And he goes, listen, man. He's like, I got to put handcuffs on you. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, shut up. He's like, I do. And I'm like, all right, hurry up. And I'm like doing this. And he snapped handcuffs on me, right? In front of my door. There's no joke. It was so sitcom. And my mom, so the stairs go up.
Yeah.
She walks and she looks down. And me and the cop are like,
Yeah.
like we've been caught. And it's him with handcuffs on me and me. And she's like, and I go, I'll be right back. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And I flipped out. And he took me to the jail or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone was cool. Everyone was nice. He thought it was funny and stuff like that. It was just the priest was pressing charges because he thought it was like a hate crime.
Yeah.
It was just a fun crime. It was a boy crime.
Yeah.
And
it was a tween crime. I think that's a tween crime.
it was a tween crime. I was underage. It was expunged because I was underage.
Oh no, that is a teen crime. That's a classic teen crime.
Yeah.
We have a new category. Boy crime, teen crime.
Yeah, because boy crimes.
A boy would not do enema in public. You know,
boy would. I know what you mean.
Teen would.
Well, I think a good way to differentiate it. Boy crimes are not going to get you arrested. Teen crimes might get you arrested, but in a little way.
Yeah.
In a harmless way.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like teen crime is I spray painted a swear word on that wall.
Yeah.
A boy crime is not I spray painted a swear.
No.
A boy crime is like I wrote a swear in chalk.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
yes, that's right.
Yeah.
There's a level of I think this is so much worse than it is because of my age.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Join us next week when Chuck tells us another story of white privilege.
Boy, our email episodes are
meandering.
I think accurate. The name email episode is accurate because there's only one.
This electronic mail is from December of 2023. We have
We're
almost
in the Christmas
finished
month
the year.
and Hanukkah month and Kwanzaa month.
This is past the holidays that we've celebrated.
Gibby has gone by.
It's from our pal Dylan.
This is a post Gibby.
Yep.
Post-gib.
Fuck. I just want to hear Brad say that. Hey guys, just wanted to let you know this is my favorite podcast. The humor and stories y'all have reminds me so much of me and my friends. I have a Brad, and I also have a Chuck, and I'm the Ray. It's a perfect mesh. I re-listen all the time. So glad to be a viewer
I want to meet
listener.
this guy and find out who I am.
Thank you for always making my day better, Dylan. Thank you for the kind words, Dylan.
Thank you, Dylan.
Yeah.
I'm worried about your friend who's your Brad.
I'm also worried about your two friends. Just apologize for your general demeanor.
Why? Why?
Because it's funny that he said he's
Here's my rebuttal. It didn't get on me. I blew it away.
You know what you have? Those little fans.
Yeah.
The bellows.
No, I go. Oh
Oh
blow it back on you. Yeah.
I take the fan.
What are we doing?
We have 3 fans.
It's just a tornado.
We created a tornado.
Dave comes in again.
Yeah.
What are you doing, guys?
From far away, we run out of the connection as it breaks.
IDM.
I love it.
What happened? Oh, it's such a long story.
Just watch the show. All right.
That's so funny.
We did a prison crime.
We have an email from Mr. Mystic.
Oh, yeah.
this guy.
Also
Yes.
This is
December.
like a legit magician, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know his credentials. I don't know his bona fides about being a magician.
True.
Has he been jumped in to the magician's
The other
circle?
magicians.
Yeah. They hit him with wands. And then they're like, all right, now level 2. And then the wands become flowers and they're whapping them with them.
He takes off a hat and just dumps rabbits on him.
Saw him in half.
Yeah. Now get the coins out of them.
Something happening.
They're pulling cards out of his mouth. Oh, no. I heard when they jump him in, they put all the cards in.
Yes.
And that's how they always have them.
Yeah, right.
Hey guys, just wanted to bring this to your attention. Ernest Day is June 6th, 2024.
Is that real?
Mr. Mystic will be in attendance, and you should all come out too. It is at Montgomery Bell State Park. It looks like it's in the state of Tennessee.
We'll be there.
Well,
I'm going to be in Alaska.
Well, we can move that.
I'm going to be in Alaska for work stuff for all of June.
What if we have one of those little planes that takes off on the water?
Do you think they'll give me the time for religious reasons?
That's good?
Right? You have to fly me to Tennessee. It's my religion.
we'll put an iPad
It's Ernest Day.
on a Segway.
Yeah.
And just let you control it.
That's
from
fair.
Alaska.
That's
pledge
fair. Will you
allegiance-
put a little denim hat on it?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the Vern.
If you know what I mean. And to the earnest for which he stands.
Chuck says,
Indivisible.
with liberty
and justice for all. Play ball.
Thank you for the heads up, Mr. Mystic.
Yes, thank you very much. Ernest Day. What a day. What a day. What's the parade?
I really do want to do the Ernest franchise flashback, though.
That would be fun.
We got to do it.
There's too many direct to VHS tape things.
I got to be honest. I think if
there can't be more Ernests than Saws.
No. I think there's like six.
I think there is.
I think there's like 6 total.
Army, school, Africa,
Camp,
Halloween.
Jail.
The 3 I started with were just like the ones that I know are direct to video, which was Army, school. What did I say? Africa. Then we get Camp, Scared Stupid.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
We're up at 6 now, and there's way more than
I don't think there's more.
A series of
Jail.
5 feature-length comedies, followed by 4 more direct-to-video entries. All 9 were directed. Blah blah blah. So there are 9, which is one fewer.
How many Star Warses?
Well, Rogue One.
So.
Oh yeah, but in the main thing.
I think we could do it. I will.
In the Ernest saga.
Yes.
The Erniverse.
Erniverse.
The P-Worrell saga.
I think. Oh, and you know that there is a new documentary coming out about him called "The Importance of Being Earnest."
Oh, that's great.
It's like a legit one. Which
Sorry,
started
they're
out,
building a robot in the other room.
Yes.
We got the jangling again.
It's funny because that started out as a Zach Galifianakis joke in 2006,
Wow.
live at the Purple Onion.
Yeah.
He said those Ernest movies are getting so full of themselves.
Yeah.
The importance of being earnest.
Yeah.
Great joke. But they're actually making it. I think we could do a franchise flashback with 9.
Yeah.
Especially because they're not like with Saw. I think we have to go into more plot points because they tie into other things.
Yeah.
I think we focus less on the plot of these.
Although, like, I like the idea of it, but now that I'm thinking about it, like, I don't know if that's funny if we're just relaying, and then Ernest spilled like a bucket on his head.
I
think we can do it.
Can I throw out an idea?
Yeah.
I know what you mean, though.
Pitch Doctors, Ernest.
Oh, now that's fun.
We pitch an Ernest movie.
A new Ernest movie.
A new Ernest movie.
With who?
Well, that's part of the pitch. I was
Nope.
gonna.
What do you mean?
If it's not him,
You know what?
it's not Ernest.
No. It's with him. It's the idea of if we were doing it with Jim
All right.
Varney.
Yeah.
I think Ray Harrington should be the new Ernest.
I would also. Would you be the son of Ernest?
Ooh.
Ernestine's monster?
His nephew. I'd be his nephew.
All
Because
right.
Ernest, I don't think, had a child. I don't think there's going to be a son
Yeah.
of Ernest. You know what I mean?
That's true.
He was saintly that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I don't want to picture Ernest fucking. Can we put that out there?
It's the only thing that
My
gets me
jaw
going.
hurts, if you know what I mean.
Hey, Vern. So I think that I'd love to do a pitch doctors where we each come up with our own Ernest movie.
The idea
Yeah,
of
that's fucking
we
fun.
find a lost Ernest film,
Yeah, that's fun.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I like that.
and then we have to describe it.
I already know what he's going to do in mine.
Can I tell you?
Done.
That
Done
mine,
and dusted.
Mine, it possibly could be Ernest Scared Stupid again.
Okay.
Which
All
I think
right.
is fun.
Yeah. we'll let's circle it and we'll come back to it. Write it down on one of your post-its that you're playing with.
I will.
You got a pen right next to you.
But I will say, like, we love doing the best video franchise flashback stuff.
Yeah.
I would love to do that, and I think it might be fun if that one was me and Ray tell Brad all about Ernest, and I think we should dress like Ernest.
Okay.
I think that'd be very fun.
Yeah, I got to find a vest.
We'll find one. We'll go to
Yeah,
Savers.
yeah.
I'll dress like a snapping turtle with a little parachute on.
You already do. You just need the parachute.
This email is from the current year.
Wow.
2024's.
1990 noon.
Yes.
It's 1990 noon, everybody.
January 4th, 1990 noon. Hi, Brad, Chuck, and Ray. I don't think I've ever...
So sorry. The
all right.
banging is getting like comically loud.
Oh, yeah.
But
He's
please go ahead.
he's doing a
I'm
plate
sure it won't
stacking game
register.
up there.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever technically written into your new show, but I've been listening since the beginning, and we had some correspondence in the Chuck and Brad days. I do also have the distinct honor of being part of the last episode of Chuck and Brad and the first ish of Funbearable, as I inquired about Western movies at the time and got mentioned on both pods.
Wow.
I also once confused Brad and Ray in my early days of listening as
I get it.
the one who recommended House of Leaves. Sorry, the guilt of that keeps me up at night. Ray recommended House of Leaves.
Yeah.
Yep.
I still haven't read it. It's in my Amazon, like, I should buy this list.
Yeah.
And I just
saw
keep not
Paranormal
buying it.
Activity is pretty much the same.
I do want to say up top that
That's the most Chuck thing I've heard all day.
No, you said that about Paranormal Activity.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You were like, I'm not going to watch it. I already read House of Leaves.
Yeah.
I do want to say up top that I thoroughly enjoy the show. This is probably a few years too late, but I know there was some worry about the new dynamic and if people would fall off or generally feared the changes. I wanted to give you all my opinion that there is still plenty of laughs and also real moments talking about anxiety, depression, fears, life in general, etc. that I was hoping for. Thank
I'm
you
still
all.
on the fence.
Thank you all for the hours of entertainment and many more to come. I'm listening to the 2023 Fun Bammies episode wherein Ray considers Baldur's Gate 3 and asked for thoughts from the audience. I'll offer my views and leave it to you all to make a decision based on my experiences. First off, it is a time commitment game. I would expect no less than 60 and probably more like 80 plus hours to finish a single campaign all the way through.
Okay.
I enjoyed every hour of it, but know what you were in for if you want a sense of completion. I also came to it with a thorough understanding of the rules and this type of RPG, having played the previous ones and also being experienced with 5th edition D&D.
Yeah, see, that's where I get scared off.
Yeah, 5th edition is by far the most beginner-friendly edition of that game, and while an understanding of the system rules at play would give an advantage, it is not at all necessary to play the game well or enjoy it unless you are playing on maximum difficulty. It is more complex than Witcher 3, but builds on that complexity over time as the characters level up and get more complicated skills.
Okay.
In my opinion, the most difficult thing to comprehend is the action system, in that each turn a character gets one action, like an attack, cast a spell, use an ability, and one bonus action, minor thing, drink a potion, push someone, throw something.
Yeah. See, this is where I start. Like, I looked up some stuff about it, and like when it got into this stuff, that's when I started to kind of glaze over a little bit. You know what I mean?
Well, he addresses it directly. Getting these confused was a challenge for my wife, but she got the hang of it and was good after that. And luckily, the game color codes them so you know what your options are. What spells and options to pick can be daunting, but there are very few bad ones, and the game lets you respec your character as many times as you want if you want to change something you feel isn't working for you. Recent patches have also made some of the more annoying aspects of it more user-friendly, such as inventory management. Yes, the game is incredibly deep with choice and iteration on those choices. Rarely did I approach any given challenge and not have multiple ways to try and solve it. Being single-player and turn-based also makes it decently easy to save and pick up later without any issue. It was easily my game of the year for 2023, but I know it may not appeal to everyone's ideal gaming goals, and it is admittedly very long, for better or worse. Take care, and maybe I'll see you next time you crack a sack in like 2025 or something. Signed Blake.
We're catching up. We're
Absolutely. Thank you very much. What was the name again?
Blake.
Blake. Thank you very much, Blake. I really do appreciate that. I'm still very tempted. I really, really am. I don't know.
Well, I have a follow-up from another fun bear named Mike. Hello, Ray and Chuck and Brad. My wife Tara and I were watching part 1 of the Fun Bammies last night, and your comments about Baldur's Gate 3 caught my attention.
Whoa.
First, let me say that
I'm really racking them up.
I love BG3. My first playthrough lasted, and I shit you not,
Big Guys 3.
240 hours.
See, now I'm getting away from it again.
After which I was compelled to start it over immediately.
I get it though, because Fallout, like I played Fallout 3 probably 4 times through, all the way through.
Yeah.
And then Fallout 4, I've played all the way through, maybe twice, and started it and played a different way up until I was good, and put it down probably another 4 times after that, and have recently been tempted to go back to Fallout 4 because I just convinced a friend of the pod, fan of the pod, Lee Leshin, to get the game and start playing it.
Nice.
Of course, he hates most of it because he's a guy who's like, I don't like zombies. I don't like things that are scary. I don't like inventory management. I don't like crafting things. I don't like any of these
falling.
things.
I don't like being out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't like Boston. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you can get through some of this stuff. There's some really good shit here.
Yeah.
You know, like Fallout is just like it's exploration of the game to me. It gets me so pumped about what's around the next corner and what's in that cabinet.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but I've been
Wonder
tempted.
Glue again.
Yeah. But no, it is tempting, and I get it. I get that idea of the replay, especially with what I've heard about Baldur's Gate 3, about so many options, where it does feel like, you know, you change a few things, you've got a whole new game going. You got yourself a stew, baby.
It is an astonishingly good game with a jaw-dropping amount of diversity in character creation and play styles.
Chuck will hate it.
And as you mentioned on the pod, everything you do has potential consequences later in the game. Act like a dick to an NPC in Act 1 in a moment of weakness. It's very likely that it will come up in Act 3.
Isn't that the best? It's like the fucking best thing. Yeah. My favorite thing is when you start doing it and you actually get mad at someone and do it to someone who doesn't even know what you're talking about.
It's real, and then you're like, shame.
You're like Starbucks.
Yeah.
And they're like, what was that?
Like I just
Nothing, love you, bye.
It's very likely that it will come up in Act 3 and bite you in the ass. Yeah. Side with the wrong faction early on, you're going to pay for it later. I've also heard there were roughly 1,500 different endings depending on the choices you make.
Now, see, this stresses me out.
Possible?
This gives me a stress level. Like when I'll play a game where it is like you have to make a choice of something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to Google this. I have to Google this, and I have to know
what are the ramifications of my decision.
In the game world, I understand that reality is one thing. Were I in that situation in real life, I would make a choice based on the information at hand and who I thought was, who I should side with, whatever.
Come
But in game logic, it's like, I know if I side with one, I'm going to lose access to this.
Yeah, I know.
So what does this come with? What's the benefit here? What's the draw? All that stuff. So this would drive me insane.
Well,
every single time somebody's like, can you pick up that barrel? I'd be like, okay. What barrels can I touch where it doesn't affect anything? And am I going to lose access to barrels?
You're taking a union job away, Ray.
That's true.
All that being said, I'm writing to tell you this may not be the game for you based on the concerns you voiced.
Okay.
This game is essentially a D&D simulator, and it does not hold your hand with the rules at all. I've played D&D for years, so it was a relatively easy transition, but you mentioned having to go all a beautiful mind to engage with it, and there's probably a lot of truth to that if you're not familiar with D&D rules and gameplay. On top of that, you will have to control and completely understand a minimum of 4 full-fledged D&D characters during your playthrough, and there are several more you can choose to use at your discretion, which is a lot even for an experienced player.
Oh, geez.
Finally, since I know you'd be playing on an Xbox, I have to warn you that trying to do all this using a controller rather than a mouse and keyboard is a goddamn nightmare. It adds a layer of clunkiness and frustration to an already complicated game, and with 4 characters in your party at any given time, it's an absolute mess trying to keep things straight. Just a few thoughts in response to your questions. It's one of the best games I've ever played, bar none, but it does expect a lot of you. Thanks for all you guys do. Also, thanks for reading my wife Tara's email on the last Mail Sack episode. It made our night.
Oh, I think this is the person. It's funny. We recorded another Mail Sack that hasn't come out, but I think it is the same person that wrote about Saw and enjoying it with her husband.
Yeah, that's great.
I think it is.
Well, thank you, Mike. I really do appreciate that. The information is definitely helpful because I feel like everybody I've heard like rave about it will eventually get towards the back end of their thing. Like, I mean, I play D&D and I'm familiar with all the D&D stuff, and there is a lot of that in here. And for me, I'm like, I don't, and I'm not.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. I'm D&D curious.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
I've tried to get started on the podcast. Yep. Eventually, we'll do it.
I'm down.
Doing a campaign together.
Yeah, with Matt DiChara possibly.
Yeah, on the pod. I think that would be really fun. I just haven't done it before. And if I sit down with a video game, I want to play a video game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally understand. I wanted to say a funny thing about video games, and this seems like a good place to say it. So I'm in a relationship with someone named Natalie who's in Colorado. And
She's in prison.
She's in prison.
In Colorado, yeah.
Cannibalism.
Yeah.
Alfred Packer, Part 2.
That's how they connected on those forums about chasing people through the woods and eating meat off of them.
No, so what's interesting is, I mean, I do want to, because I was looking at like long distance relationship stuff online, and we seem to be in the minority of people who have enough disposable income that we can just fly to see each other, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we've seen each other a good amount, and like I was gonna say, like in the first, I don't know, 7 weeks of dating, I'm going to have gone out there twice, and she'll come to Rhode Island and New York to see me. So it's like, we're lucky.
I thought she was coming to Rhode Island to see me.
Well, it's a half and half.
Okay.
And, but
I'll accept it.
One of the things that was funny that I think is really interesting is when she would call me, you know, I don't like to take a lot of time to just like do things by myself because I feel guilty. Like if I'm just by myself, not doing anything in my apartment or something, I won't sit down and play a video game because I feel like this is burden to work. However, if I'm talking to Natalie on the phone and it's part of our relationship and stuff, I feel more comfortable being like, oh, I'll just sit down and play a video game. and I've been playing Dying Light, which is a game that Brad got me in 2015. I just finished it, like, and it's funny because I put like 110 hours in it over the course of 9 years, which is funny. But so she was like, man, she's like, I really wish I could, because I would tell her about it. She said, I really wish I could like see it. I don't know how I was this oblivious. I was like, yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's a way for you to watch me play a video game. It doesn't exist. I don't know why I didn't think about this. I guess because I'm not like a streaming person.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're not either. And I'm sure you're not. But then I was talking to Brad. I think it was you, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, he's like, what about Twitch? And I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, I think I could just sign up for a thing. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
I did it on Xbox. Have you ever done it?
No.
I could not believe. Here's how it works. This is how it works on the Xbox One, or you have the Xbox Series S. I have the Xbox Series S. He has the Series X. Same thing. There's a button in the middle of the controller that has a share thing. You press it once, and it opens a menu, and you put Start Stream, and it starts streaming you, right?
Yeah.
Also, any generic webcam, if you plug it into the USB port in the front of the Xbox, you could just it'll have you on it.
Yeah.
Without the green screen thing, without all that bullshit.
Right.
It takes 0 time to set up. It works perfectly.
Yeah.
So we've been playing together where she's like watching me and helping me play Dying Light. And it's been really, really fun.
That's fun, yeah.
And I was surprised that it works so easily and so well, because I've never done that stuff. But what's interesting is, so Brad got me Dying Light in 2015. The sequel came out probably in 2022.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
And the original game was made by these developers that worked for the company that made Dead Island. And they had kind of gone off rogue and started their own independent little company to do Dying Light. And they were like, we need to sell 1 million copies to break even on this and stuff. And that was the original idea. And they did super well. It was a very highly rated game, like incredibly highly rated, and they sold like 6 million. It's really cool because you're kind of following these indie developers, almost in the same way that I look at as like independent filmmakers or something. Really, really fun. But they made Dying Light 2, and I'm transitioning from Dying Light 1 to Dying Light 2. And much like this Baldur's Gate thing, there is so much more to learn and to know how to do and to sift through and decisions to be made. And just like in this one, it's like you got to upgrade it's a free running game. So it's like you got to decide what gloves you want to wear. What shoes you want to wear. What this, like, and all these different things on top of all the normal game mechanics you would expect from a first person zombie game, in terms of like deciding to side with people. And it might be the most in-depth and complicated first-person shooter that I've ever played in terms of that stuff, which makes sense. I mean, that's the time we live in, and they want people who are really interested in the community, and they're the type of developers that like they consistently update things and do events and do all these different things. But man, it's like if I wasn't like in love with Dying Light 1, I don't think I'd be able to do it. I'm in it because I trust the people, and it is very fun. I'm having a great time doing it. But holy shit, it's like the stuff you have to learn. It feels like you're taking a class sometimes.
Sure, yeah.
I started.
You would hate The Witcher.
I started it like a while ago when Brad first got it, and then Brad got me Saints Row, and I transitioned, and now I was like, I'll just go back into my save file. It was impossible. I was like, there's so much to learn. I have to go through the tutorial again. The tutorial is 4 hours long. Just the tutorial.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I think there is a lot of like fun to be had when you get over those humps and you really fall into a game like that. But it is so fucking intimidating. Like he's talking about Baldur's Gate 3. Dude, I could not do that. I could not get into the 4 classes of D&D characters and learn all this stuff. And he said it was difficult for even a seasoned D&D player. That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Are you good with that stuff? You think you can do it?
Yeah, I think I could, but that's because I don't have a job or a relationship.
I also think you have
prospects.
You have more of a personality that's like, I love to learn a thing and figure it out.
Well, you played that game that looked interesting to me. I can't remember what it's called. That required like outside of the game writing stuff, creating things.
Whoa, what is
what was that game?
It's called a manifesto.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You played a game. It was like a.
What's
the word I'm looking for? Not top down, but like
it's
an angled view.
Isometric
view.
Tunic.
Like
Tunic was the game.
Yes.
Yeah. And that game is insane. Like on its
Tunic. I don't know if I've heard of that.
On its face, It's just a fun, like Zelda-like game, except you're a little fox. But to do everything, like basically you're going around this world and you're finding parts of the instruction manual, and there are different directions on each page of the instruction manual that unlock the door that you can get a different ending. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to unlock the door with a code I find online, which I did, but I didn't realize that got you like the nice ending. And so I fought the final boss over and over. I finally did it, and I'm like, and it's like, are you sure you want to restart? I'm like, definitely. It's like, really sure? I'm like, yeah, of course. And then I look at it and I'm like, oh, I didn't get the good ending. And so if I want the good ending, I have to do the whole thing again. And I'm like, yep, delete.
Yeah.
Not gonna go through.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But like a really well done, fun game that is insane.
That's the thing, is I think that they are super fun and probably super rewarding when you get over the hump of learning
for
but
sure.
is it going to take you 20 hours to be comfortable?
Thing. It's like I don't want to spend that time.
Yeah, I just finished another playthrough, my second playthrough of Skyrim, but since my first one was in like 2011, I think it's fine. You know, I put a lot of hours into it again, because what else am I doing?
Yeah, it's tough.
And did all the quests that I missed the first time, where I was like, I don't want to be an assassin. That's mean.
Right.
There are some games where it's like it's designed to be like very dense to get into it, like Baldur's Gate. I'm sure it's very well designed. And then there are some other games I think that are not well designed, and the reason they're so hard is because they don't communicate well.
Right. Yeah, of course.
And I've played a few of those as well. And to me, the person playing. The idea of someone agreeing to sit down with you and go through it and talk it out and figure out stuff with you, it makes all the difference.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm doing it by myself, I don't know if I can do it. Me and my buddy Lou sat down and played The Darkness. And I think The Darkness just didn't really communicate a lot of things. We had to go. It's a whole city. It's first person. And you just got to kind of find your way around. And we had to like look up stuff and look up maps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the fact that he helped me do it and was sitting there with me, I don't think I would have done it if I didn't have
Well, I think there's a sweet spot with like challenge of the thing.
Me too.
And enjoyment of the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm also at a point where like there are some games that seem interesting to me, but like some of their mechanics are just wild.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, can I get an option where it says like I'm a dad?
Yeah.
And I have shit to do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't want to like it's like I can devote some time. But if it's like I got to be on this thing every day and this is when this happens. And you can do all of this stuff in order to play it. I'm like I just want to play my game. I just want to play my game.
There's some stuff now I think that's a little bit more like catered towards like, well, there's this version of doing it and you can master and stuff, and here's the casual mode of that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it's not for a lot of those bigger games.
Yeah, and I'm not somebody who enjoys the type of game where it's like maybe like a side scroller thing where it's like it's super like platformers that are like it's super challenging, but it's a lot of fun and you get in the zone and you do it, or like roguelikes where you just you die and you start over but you learned a new thing and so you can go through it again and then you'll die again and you start over and you learn a new thing, and I'm like
Hades.
It looks great. I don't want to play it. You know what I mean?
We played through Cuphead, and Cuphead is one of those games where it's like a platformer, incredibly well designed. Very similar to Dying Light, where it was an independent team. It started out as 2 people.
Yeah, no, Cuphead looks great, and I want to play it, but it from everything I've seen and heard, it's like it's incredibly challenging.
It is,
and I'm like, I don't want to play a game where I'm like playing the same level 40 times and getting frustrated. I just don't want to do it.
What are you, an expert?
we died at the end. They tell you how many times you died.
Yeah,
and we died like 1,400 times.
Together we died like 3,000 times.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, it's
but super fun. And, it's a game that I get frustrated with, and Chuck's like, "Come on, we're so close," and I'm like, "We're only 2/3 of the way through this boss," and then I'm like, "I need to go home. It's 1 a.m." And Chuck's like, "Come on."
I get it. It's just
but having Chuck there made it so that I could get.
Well, you're doing it together.
Exactly. That's what I think is the difference. Where a lot of these very challenging things, where I also think if I was by myself, I'd be like, "No, I'm just not going to repeat this."
Yeah.
I would also say that we did reserve Funbearable Pod through Twitch, and so. I mean, all of us could sign on as Funbearable Pod at different times.
I would play anytime.
Where Ray's like, "Oh, I want to play the new God of War," and I'm up at night, midnight to 2 a.m. or whatever, and you're like, "Oh, I'll just hop on and play it and interact with."
Within weeks, I am in a bikini, sitting in a pool, playing the game.
That's where I'm starting.
And looking at the camera.
Yeah. And then getting like little cha-chings.
I know.
And then certain ones I have to go like that. I have to do like different things.
Oh, what's that face called? Waifu?
I don't know.
Is that a thing?
Waifu is a thing. I don't think that's the thing.
A waifu is like a wife. Like
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that nonsense.
You want me to do it?
No, nobody.
Next
We
email.
shouldn't have done it. Well, Brad's the only one that has to do it. Yeah, don't do it right to the camera. Now they're gonna save it. They are gonna save it. All right, let's do an email. How many have we done? 1.5.
Like 4. 8.
Fun Bammies Part 2.
16.
This is from Chad. First, huge thank you to Ray for introducing me to Violent Soho however many months ago.
Yeah. Oh, you cut me off. Yeah.
I instantly fell in love with their sound. Excited to listen to the Smith Street Band now. Random thought. Chuck was talking about expanding Funbearable and making it bigger. You all three have great music taste. What about starting a Funbearable Spotify playlist? Could update it monthly or whenever with new music you're digging. Ray, check out Sad Park song. I guess Sad Park is the name of the artist's song. I feel like shit. You might like it.
Okay.
They have a new album this year, 2024. Also,
Sad Park.
Sad Park.
Yeah.
Also, that I don't think got as much credit as it deserved. I'm writing this rambling, long email, though, to really talk to Brad about his comments about quitting his job and not making new friends. As someone myself who also feels I need to accomplish something every day, even if it just means reading X number of pages a day, I've longed to quit my job and do my own thing, but it scares me too much, and even hearing you talk about it made me nervous, but it is commendable. As a child, not joking, my dream was to work in a 9-to-5 job for the same company for my whole life because it was what my dad did, and deep down there was stability there.
Yeah.
You come across as too focused/reliable person to not find something new, keep sticking with it. As for the friends part, I don't have a lot of experience because I've made maybe one friend in the last 5 to 10 years, but I think if you three took this show on the road, you'd be shocked at how many people want to be Brad's friend. Hell, I know I do. I don't live in Rhode Island or near it, but feel free to reach out to me whenever stranger things have happened. And yes, I'm aware that sounds creepy. I think they say 90% of people are introverts and the other 10% are egomaniacs, but even us 90% can't spend 100% of our day in isolation. Take it easy, boys. Keep up the good potting. Chad. And then he included a phone number, FBO, for Brad only.
Oh.
P.S. Chuck, you killed it with the TESD tapes episode 4. I knew what you were going for when you and Brad started doing these TESD interviews back on the old show, and I'm so happy they've let you inside the inner circle to do these. Yeah. It completely scratches the tails from behind the fake counter itch for the regular TESD pods.
That means a lot to me.
Thank you, Chad.
That. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you, Chadley. We
Also,
really appreciate it.
I can't think of any person I've met in my life who wouldn't want to be friends with Brad, and just in general. You know what I mean?
You know what? Brad has met a lot of those people. We had what seems to be a mean comment on our YouTube that is somehow still in our Gmail inbox. Funbearable, no lie there. That's
All
it.
right.
No, I think that guy likes us.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I could see the username. It's induced fear or something.
Yeah.
I think that guy is usually he comments a lot. I think.
Good.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, thank you and fuck you.
Yes. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Thank you, and possibly.
Yeah. Mwah, and also,
Can that be the name of the episode? I don't know.
Sure, you write it.
How are we doing on time? 3 more emails?
If we keep it like to the email, we can do like we're at 58.
All right.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah. But we still have one more thing to do.
Mike, first off, please keep the long and tangent-filled episodes.
The fact that you just said that.
Yes. Well,
No
we're
problem.
trying to do more episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I realize it's more work for you all, but I think it's one of the perks of the show, taking that ride with you all. The conversations feel so organic without cut, copy, paste like so many other podcasts.
I appreciate
it sets
that.
you apart from the sea of content.
I by the way, I really think that is a strength of ours. And a couple people have talked to me and they were like, it is shocking how you guys continue to roll for so long. Like there's not a lull.
Wait, what was the tone in which they said that?
It was this. It's shocking. It was a big pause.
Yeah.
No.
It is shocking
Yeah.
how long you guys can just keep going. Like that's what that is. Yeah.
No, it was really
I think
positive.
it's over, and then more stuff.
Keep going.
All right. By the way, this was haunted story, so it was referring to us talking about like ghosts and whatnot.
Yeah.
Cool.
My father grew up in a house in Kittery, Maine.
There you go.
I grew up. Wait. Is this my illegitimate son?
Yeah.
Because I grew up in a house in Kittery, Maine. It was a duplex. We didn't have house money.
The kids were tasked with cleaning the attic one weekend. My father
We
lifted
didn't have an attic. We're fine.
My father lifted a loose floorboard and found a picture that appeared very old of a woman in a long flowing dress that he showed to his family. Ooh. He put the picture in his closet that night and later awoke to a ghostly figure that looked like the woman in the picture at the foot of his bed.
He had a dream.
Like most children, he naturally pulled the covers over his head, and when he looked again, she was gone.
Then she blew him because it's Ghostbusters.
Yes, Dan
Yeah,
Aykroyd.
I like that.
The next morning...
I'm pro.
That's my favorite ghost in Ghostbusters.
My favorite ghost in Ghostbusters.
The next morning...
Well, you know what they're doing. They're making woke busters now. You hear about this? Slimer's trans.
We just did this. We just did it on our episode.
It was 84B.
We did this conversation exactly. It was Slimer's Puerto Rican.
Oh, trans is funnier.
I
No?
think honestly, I think in the episode, I think Ray did trans and Chuck did Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, this is interesting.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it because Slimer is like such a non-gendered thing.
Yeah.
Same thing with nationality, though.
Sure,
You
yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just, it was.
Well, there's our difference in comedy. You know what I mean? And I think one of us is right,
me too.
but who knows? I won't say who.
I think they made Slimer Puerto Rican is just a better joke rhythm.
Well, I think the phrasing, sure, but I think
Yeah.
the conceptual idea of comedy is.
I do
more
think
like
that the Puerto Rican aspect is a little bit more translates to actual things, though.
All right. Well, like most children, he naturally pulled the covers over his head, and when he looked again, she was gone. The next morning, the picture had disappeared and was nowhere to be found ever again.
Interesting.
Jesus.
When he told my grandparents and his sisters, he was relentlessly teased for being afraid of ghosts, making up the story, and the mocking continued for years as he grew up.
Wow.
My grandfather worked at Montgomery Ward's in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Many years later, he called my father out of the blue one day. He told him a couple had come in to buy an appliance, and while chatting, he found out they lived in the house where the ghost story occurred.
See, this is back when people would go to department stores to buy things.
Right.
And talk to each other and be like, wow, I grew up in the house that you live in. Like that kind of thing. Now, you don't do that. If you're lucky, the Amazon person working at the warehouse peeing in that bottle maybe knows your uncle.
He told the couple of my father's claims, and they stared at each other, telling him they had moved out because they believed the house was haunted.
Wow.
He had called to apologize to my father, but of course he still didn't believe him. Just had to share as you mentioned it, and I know Ray is from the area. Thanks for all you create, and another hilarious episode. Long lives Sheila the Movie Slut.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you, Mike.
Mike, a lot of Mikes writing in.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Mike. Do me a favor. Let me know, like, you don't have to give me the address. Let me know where in Kittery this was. I want to know if it was in the village. I want to know if it's Kittery Point. I want to know if it was, like, closer to York, closer to Portsmouth. Let me know.
Yeah.
I would like to know this, because maybe I'll go by, next time I'm going through Kittery. I
Also,
feel like I'm talking to two people
well,
texting.
I was just going to say, I looked up the induced fear thing of the Mean podcast. I'm 100% positive
He's nice.
that I've seen that guy comment on our videos many times.
Yep.
So I'm not but I just wasn't able to find any comments.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just interested. I don't know.
I would just say either way, meh.
I know, me too.
You know
I
what I
just
mean?
I just didn't want to misspeak. I didn't want
Sure.
that person that hates us to listen and be like, no, I didn't.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? That's scary though. I don't know. I feel like New England, we got way more ghosts. We got way more history. We got way more
Yep.
possibilities of this kind of
Yeah.
situation happening.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun. I'm gonna be honest. It's more fun.
Yeah.
We got one from Alex.
Come to think about, I did lose my virginity to a translucent woman in a long dress.
Translucent woman is really funny.
Coincidence.
Well, I just thought she was really Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is from Alex.
You need a tan.
Subject line, Sheila the Movie Slut.
Oh, was this around when Sheila showed back up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
after the Fun Bammies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, gang, I'm pretty sure I heard Sheila the Movie Slut call 911 once because a plane crashed and the survivors were stuck on an island with a black smoke monster.
Oh,
Also-
Sheila would absolutely call that.
Also, Locke is dead. Keep up the great work, fellas. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, Alex. I think Sheila. Yeah, Sheila has done a lot of these types of things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I just figured out who that is.
Okay.
I think that's my my buddy from college, Alex, who has heard my sketch comedy album that I did in college and was selling like individually, and I would sell it at shows when I started doing stand up afterwards. And in that, there was a character that did actually sound extremely like Sheila the Movie Slut.
Oh, really?
And the joke of the sketch, it was recurring in the album, was and my friend Kat was the 911 operator,
right?
And this person would call in and always be calling for a movie they were watching.
Got it.
So it was like,
that's funny.
There's a man down at the factory, the old factory, and he's like luring some kids.
Oh no!
And I'm real nervous about that. He's luring them. Yep. And then she's like, "Oh, what factory? The old chocolate factory. That's been closed. Nobody goes in there." But now he's like luring.
Funny.
He's weird. He's dressed all in purple.
Yep.
The only man that I know that's not a sex predator dressed like when purple is Prince.
Yep.
You know, like stuff like that.
That's funny, man. I really think that's funny.
And she's like, "Oh, are there adults there?" I'm like, "Yeah, they all got adults, but like they could be part of some sort of sex cult." It's like, "Oh, the kids, there's like a little cowboy with cap guns. I hope they's cap guns." You know, it was really fun.
That is really fun.
So that's fun. That's a fun callback. Wow, I just had like a sense memory of that.
Great.
Yeah,
that's
those
great.
were fun
that's a great
sketches.
idea. What do you want to do? You want to do one more?
Yeah. I got two more.
Two more.
Two more.
Brad always trying to stuff more in than it'll fit.
Episode
usually.
77.
He's like, what else can I stuff in so that this thing feels full?
What's the thing?
It's someone's vagina, obviously.
I thought it was like a sock.
No.
Episode 77, beard hair. It's from Tony. Hey guys, I have a considerable beard and just recently figured out how to handle beard hair after shaving. We had discussed this. Forget about paper towels and wiping everything down. I bought a small handheld wet dry vacuum. I use it in the sink and anywhere else loose beard hair ends up. I even vacuum myself.
Wow.
I think he means his chest. Unless he means he puts his penis in it.
Sex robot. What else can I stuff in here?
Yeah.
Hope that helps, and thanks for the great
clogged.
pod. Thank you, Tony.
What else can I stuff in here?
Merci beaucoup, Tony. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was great.
This is from our pal Corey. Hey guys, love the show. I've been cutting hair for years to help some of the folks I take care of save money. It's something I never pursued professionally, but enjoy doing. The thing is, many of these folks have limited control of their bodies and an inability to sit still for extended periods of time. With that being said, this is a great question, Corey. What if I'm the world's best barber? If I can cut someone's hair who's thrashing around without making them look bad, what the hell are these people doing to our poor Chuck? Peace and love. The idea of what if I'm the world's best barber and I don't know it? Man,
that's great.
That's so interesting. The idea of you have this undiscovered talent.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yep.
What if he's the world's worst barber?
Yeah.
But it sounds like maybe they don't have the agency to say, "You fucked my head up."
That's why they're thrashing.
Yeah, they're like, "Don't cut my fucking hair."
Yeah.
I'll say this:
you make me look fucking stupid.
So it's funny. This is kind of in reference to in December when that woman just like fucked me right up with that fucking clippers across the top of my head.
Yeah.
So I've gotten one haircut since then. And then yesterday, I finally went back to Maddie, who is like my main like hair person in Rhode Island, and Ray used to go to her and everything, and we've talked about her before. And she knew the story. I had sent her the pictures, and we talked about it. And she's like, "Yeah, so what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Oh, the regular stuff." I go, "I don't know if I'm 100% back grown. It's hard to tell."
Yeah.
And she was doing my hair. She's like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "You're not all the way back yet." She's like, the back of your hair is usually way different than this."
Yeah.
It's been 3.5 months. 3.5 months, and I'm still fucked up from that crazy kook.
I mean, it's been since 2006 that I haven't had a back to my hair, so no sympathy here.
Well, you got too close with that vac.
Yeah.
Oh, the roots.
Yep.
I love
Tie it out by the roots.
What else can I stuff in here? So so funny.
Oh man, I think if you maybe are the best barber, I think what you need to do is take those skills to a barber. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And see what this barber. Find a grizzled old barber.
You know, it'd be weird. I have a weird idea.
Oh no, I have a weird idea.
So Corey goes to the barber.
Yeah.
And the barber's like, all right. He's like, you know what? We're going to see if you're...
This sounds like one of those clap games. Corey goes to the barber, and the barber said...
Yeah, I'll do that. And he says, all right.
You can't cut hair. You fucked up my head.
And Corey...
How many hairs did you cut? 1, 2.
You're going to count the hairs?
Yeah.
So Corey goes to the barber, and the barber's like, I'm going to let you try. And he
Yeah.
cuts someone's hair, and he does like, okay. And Corey's like, oh, this is weird. I usually do a much better haircut. And the barber's like, well, try this guy. He does it again.
Yeah.
Corey's like, I do a much better hair. And then the guy's like, it's not that good. And Corey's like, I have an idea. Mm-hmm. Can you thrash around like a lunatic for a second? And he like, you know, he's Edward Scissorhanding it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And the haircut is the best haircut.
Man.
You just have to thrash.
You can. Then it turns out he can only do haircuts on roller coasters.
That's his
it.
thing. Yeah. And or if he's wearing roller skates
Yes.
during an earthquake.
Or if they're having a seizure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a few
There's options.
there's caveats.
There's options, is what we're saying.
Yeah, we don't look on the bright side. There are options.
Yes.
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 I like that. I like that.
Just before we close,
Yeah.
quick follow up. I
Close the what?
had emailed Mr. Mystic.
Close the what?
And I said, Chuck,
Say the name.
close the what?
Close the what?
Oh, close the portal to hell that this episode has become.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
gotta tighten
This
the
is-
reins
this
on
is
the sack.
The sack.
I wrote to.
Portal to hell.
I wrote. I didn't realize what you were going for.
Oh, okay. What else could I put in this portal to make it feel full?
I wrote to Mr. Mystic, and
put my dick in the portal.
I wrote to Mr. Mystic, and I said, Chuck said he'll go. He'll go to the Ernest thing.
Yeah.
And he said, awesome. Ask him if he wants to travel with the amazing Mr. Mystic. We can do it travel buddy style, like Del and Neil.
I do.
All right.
Tennessee.
There you go.
Here we come. Me and
Yeah.
Mr. Mist.
You're gonna
Yeah,
save
Mr.
money
Mystic.
anyway because he's just
Yeah.
gonna have you get in that hat.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it's a Chuck.
Oh,
Yeah.
my hair
hair
again.
It's still new. Oh man, that's a lot of fun.
It's weird because I don't want to say like, yeah, we read this on the episode because we have a mail sack that's going to come out before this one comes
Yeah,
out.
Yeah.
So,
That's okay.
you know,
Yeah.
this came out, this will come out several sacks
It'll
from
come
now.
out. Yeah, several sacks.
Yeah.
There's 2 sacks that we have in the backlog.
Room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in the backlog.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's 2
Sacklog.
sacks between us.
Backlog. I get it.
But yeah.
This was fun. I
was
always
great.
appreciate hearing from our viewer listeners. I really do.
Yeah.
I know I said that
course.
sounded like I was being sarcastic, but genuinely,
Of course.
I do.
It's,
Yeah.
it's like, I love it. I think it's so much fun because it's also like we get to revisit dumb shit we've said.
Yeah.
Which is like my favorite thing.
Which is often.
Yeah, exactly.
When we're not saying new dumb shit, it's nice to look back on the dumb shit. You know, sometimes you're too busy talking about the dumb shit. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and say some dumb shit once in a while, you could miss it.
We are delighted to hear from you. Funbearablepod@gmail.com or through the email link at funbearablepod.com or over socials at funbearablepod.
Yes,
a lot
sir.
of ways.
Or leave a picture up in the attic. We'll find it eventually.
It'll haunt us for one night.
Taking so many pictures to go through.
Yeah.
Ernest. E.T.
Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate hearing from each and every one of you.
Except for that one person.
Yeah.
And we all agree, but we won't say who.
Yeah, to that person we say for Ray Harrington.
Dinner.
For Ray Harrington and Chuck Staten, I'm Brad Rohr saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.
We're all being indignant about doing a button.
Oh, you guys were doing indignant? I was just doing kind of fondly
this thing?
looking at my friends.
I was pouting because Chuck was pouting.
Oh, okay.
We share an emotional core.
I was actually thinking of us starting the Jizz Does tornado and running away from the comedy connection.
no.
At one point when you were talking about Baldur's Gate 3, I broke out and laughing for like a second, and it was me thinking about that Jizz Does tornado
That's going
and
to
us
happen to you
running away
for the next like 72 hours.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. very excited for the 9-hour drive to Toronto.
Enjoy.
We're going to be like, listening, like, steal my sunshine. And then Chuck starts giggling, and I'm like, oh no, he's not going to mention it again. He's like, what if there was a jizz tornado?
I like it. Anything to declare? Yes.
And then it freeze frames.